Right friends, welcome back to main events. So this is 17th week from 25th April to 1st May. We are going to look at the important events. Emotional appeal by the Chief Justice of India, and we are going to deliberate what are the facts with regard to judiciary. At the same time, what is to be done by the executive, or you can say legislatures, so as to improve the judicial system. At the same time, what needs to be done by the judiciary. These things we are going to deliberate subsequent to the emotional appeal by the Chief Justice of India. Prime Minister launches Pradhanmantri Ujjwala Yojana. This is basically giving subsidized gas cylinders to below poverty line households in the country, and we are going to deliberate why it is relevant. At the same time, we are going to deliberate on what are the challenges for implementation of Pradhanmantri Ujjwala Yojana and what are the tentative innovative solutions to make it successful. Then government launches Ujala in Madhya Pradesh. It was launched in a big way across the country last year. Already around 10 crore LED bulbs have been installed in the country, and now it is launched in Madhya Pradesh. We are going to discuss about the facts and figures. Then classic case of Tamil Nadu, that is Freebies versus state sponsored alcoholism. The government enterprise, that is TASMAC, the revenue is around 30,000 crores of rupees, and in fact several freebies are being given in Tamil Nadu, and at the same time one should not forget the revenues from sale of arak in the state around 30,000 crores of rupees, and it is somewhat freebies versus state sponsored alcoholism. We are going to deliberate on that. Right friends, let us look at the first and the foremost event. Emotional appeal by the Chief Justice of India. Almost all of you have seen the Chief Justice lamenting the judiciary, and in fact he broke down while reviewing the sorry state of affairs in judiciary, and we are going to deliberate on this issue, facts and figures. Then what needs to be done by the executive or legislatures. Then what needs to be done by the judiciary. These things we are going to deliberate in detail. First and the foremost, facts and figures. More than 60,000 cases are pending in Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has got a maximum sanctioned strength of 31 judges. Till date, there are 7 vacancies, and recently President appointed 4 judges, and the maximum strength is 31. Then second important point, more than 38 lakh cases are pending in high courts, and don't forget the country has got 24 high courts. The sanctioned strength is around 1000 judges. Out of 1000 judges, 434 vacancies, or roughly 40% posts of judges in high courts are vacant, and more than 38 lakh cases are pending in high courts. Other important point, in our country, overall judges strength is 18,000. Law Commission recommended a total of 40,000 judges, but our strength at present is only just 18,000. Overall, 3 crore cases, that is more than 3 crore cases, are pending in various courts, and it reflects the poor quality of democracy. And NJAC, National Judicial Appointments Commission episode, delayed the appointment of judges for more than a year. Then because of delay, as lamented by the Chief Justice of the country, under trial prisoners are the worst affected, as they are languishing in jails for several years, and modern society requires 50 judges per million population, whereas in our country they are around 15-16 judges per million population. That means the requirement of judges are around 3 times the present strength. No benchmark or time limit for disposal of cases is stipulated in our country, and substantial number of cases are more than 10-year-old. under these circumstances, something needs to be done by the executive or the legislatures, and at the same time, equally important action is needed by the judiciary. And let us look at the executive first. Concerted action is needed by the central government or state governments. That means the coordinated action is required by the central government as well as the state governments to infuse manpower and financial resources. Second important point is 2/3 of the civil cases in district courts are directly related to land or property matters. Let me reiterate once again, 2/3 of the civil cases in district courts are directly related to land or property matters. Hence, there is an urgent need to reform land laws in our country. Third important point is, government is the biggest litigant in courts. Center and states accounted for majority of cases in courts. Hence, laws framed by the center, not only center, laws framed by the states should be unambiguous, at the same time clear, and there should not be any scope for misinterpretation. When there is a scope for misinterpretation, when there is a scope for ambiguity, when the laws are not clear, what will happen? People will approach courts unnecessarily. So, the framers of these rules should take this point in mind, that the laws should be unambiguous, then clear and without a scope for misinterpretation. So, here concerted action is required by executive, legislature and judiciary. Fourth important point is, standoff between executive and judiciary should be avoided as far as possible, and a recent case is NJAC. Whenever there is a standoff between judiciary and executive, what will happen? Ultimately, it will result in chaos, and that situation should be avoided, and inaction by the center or state governments sometimes leading to judicial overreach. When center or state governments are not acting in time, judiciary is stepping in. It happened several times in recent past, and that is known as judicial overreach. And because of judicial overreach, what will happen? The gap will widen between the executive and judiciary, which is not good for democracy. So, coordinated action by both the organs is essential for well-being of the democracy. Then another important point is, the government should keep in mind the spirit of the constitution, and before inferring the provisions of the constitution, government should look at the spirit of the constitution. And the recent case in point is imposition of precedence rule under article 356 in Uttarakhand, right? So, here lot of action needs to be done by the executive. Similarly, lot more needs to be done by the judiciary also. First and the foremost is, Law Commission in its 245th report suggested rate of disposal method. That means how many cases judges are disposing, based on which the number of judges required at each level to dispose a particular number of cases can be computed based on scientific analysis. So, this Law Commission's 245th report is a valid point. There should be some benchmark for rate of disposal by judges. Second, judiciary should introspect about the colonial practice of long court vacations. Why so many court vacations are required for festivals during the summer season? There is a lot of introspection required by the judiciary. Then, the recommendations for a memorandum of procedure for appointing judges, all of you are well aware, NJAC was struck down by Supreme Court. Subsequently, memorandum of procedure is to be devised, and this is to be ensured as early as possible to avoid further delay. Then next important point is, judiciary should establish a benchmark for clearing of cases as in United States of America, where the time period prescribed is 3 years. So, this assumed significance in view of the fact that more than 10% of the cases pending in lower courts are more than 10-year-old. This is a very, very important and pertinent point. Next thing is judges must also refrain from accepting frivolous public interest litigations or frivolous PILs. Then transparency and accountability must be increased in judiciary. Then information technology should be utilized, by which it is possible not only to clear cases fast, but also it will result in transparency, and corruption allegations will be minimized if information technology is utilized just like in other sectors. Right friends, so these are the points required to be taken into consideration by the executive as well as the judiciary. Let us hope some concerted effort by both the organs as early as possible. Leaving this discussion at this juncture, let us move on to another important topic, that is Prime Minister launches Pradhanmantri Ujjwala Yojana, and at present there are more than 16 crore LPG connections in the country, and last year the Prime Minister gave call for give it up. Under give it up, people have given up the subsidy voluntarily. 1.13 crore people have given up the subsidy voluntarily, and the Prime Minister stated that the money saved through give it up will be utilized for Pradhanmantri Ujjwala Yojana. And if you come back to Pradhanmantri Ujjwala Yojana, this was launched by the Prime Minister at Balia in Uttar Pradesh on May Day, that is on May 1st. Basically, the purpose is to provide subsidized LPG connections to the people below poverty line. And as per this program, the users need not pay the security deposit, while the administrative costs, cost of pressure regulator, booklet, safety hose amounting to rupees 1600 per each connection will be borne by the central government. So, central government subsidy will be rupees 1600 per each connection. And if you look at the salient features, total period is 3 years, total cost is rupees 8000 crores. Per each connection, rupees 1600 will be given by the central government. So, 5 crore connections can be given in 3 years. And for 2016-17, the target is 1.5 crore connections, and in the budget rupees 2000 crore was allotted for this purpose. Right? And one interesting point is why it is relevant. This program is highly relevant if you look at the health of poor women in rural areas. I have listed 3 points. First one is rural India primarily uses firewood and dung cakes to meet their cooking energy needs. You may ask, what is the firewood? Please look into this slide. You may ask, what is meant by dung cakes? Please look into this slide. So, this firewood and dung cakes, this is the fuel in rural areas for cooking purposes. So, rural India primarily uses firewood and dung cakes to meet their cooking energy needs. The basic problem is it causes severe indoor air pollution. It tantamounts to burning 400 cigarettes in an hour. So, the effect is burning 400 cigarettes in an hour. That much indoor air pollution is caused because of cooking with the firewood and dung cakes. So, this program is highly relevant. Second is indoor air pollution caused by traditional chullas kills more than 1.3 million people prematurely every year. Unfortunate event is 1.3 million lives are being lost every year because of indoor air pollution. Third important point is, in India, the health of a poor woman is of least concern even for their family members in rural areas. The state intervention is the most welcome step. And having said this, it is not without challenges. You may ask, what are the challenges? The first and the foremost challenge is, what about the recurring expenditure every month? Can the poor be able to bear it? Government is giving initial subsidy of rupees 1600. But what about the recurring expenditure? And when the poor are consuming at least 114.2 kg cylinder every 3 months, they have to pay around 400 to 500 rupees as per the present cost of LPG. And can the poor be able to bear it in interior areas? That is the biggest $1 million question. Second one is, at present, 50 to 60% of rural people are getting free firewood in rural areas. Almost 60% of people are getting free firewood. And do they show interest to switch over by paying regularly for LPG cylinders? And massive awareness campaign is required to educate them about the health benefits. Then what about the distribution network for LPG in rural areas? At present, rural people are traveling even up to 15 kilometers to get the cylinders. At some places, the distribution network is not available even up to 25 kilometers. And what about the distribution network? Without improving the distribution network, it is not possible to roll out in rural areas. Fourth important point, distribution of LPG is the monopoly of 3 public sector undertakings, and their distribution in interior areas at present is not satisfactory, and further the government's intention of rolling out massively in rural areas, how the existing distribution companies will cope up, that is the $1 million question. And the existing monopoly of 3 public sector undertakings, that is HP, Bharat Petroleum and Indian Oil, and how they are going to cope up in rural areas if government rolls out in massive way, that is the $1 million question. Then what about the connectivity in rural areas? Basically this amount is being transferred through DBTL. And what about connectivity in rural areas? And without connectivity, how the government will roll out a DBTL? Then last point is perception of rural people. Then cash flows and mindsets in rural areas is another problem. Basically massive awareness campaign is required in rural areas, right? And having said that, what are the innovative solutions? There are several challenges, and at the same time we have to look at innovative solutions. First and the foremost is DBTL may be difficult due to poor last mile connectivity, and mobile has to be the fulcrum for DBTL without hitch. Now mobile handsets reached even interior areas, and mobile should be the fulcrum, that is the mobile money should be looked at if one thinks at last mile connectivity with the DBTL. Second one is the government should look at the option of private distribution companies for rollout in interior areas. Then third point is introduction of smaller LPG cylinders like 2 kg, 5 kg in rural areas may be another solution. At present, government is selling in 2 formats, that is 5 kg and 14.2 kg. 14.2 kg 12 LPG cylinders are being subsidized, and 5 kg cylinders are being given 34 at the present juncture. And massive rollout of 2 kg and 5 kg in rural areas may be one innovative solution, because poor may not be able to afford the payment for 14.2 kg cylinders. Then massive awareness campaign is the need of the hour. Rural masses should be explained about the benefits of using LPG. Then maximum distance of LPG network from habitations, that means from the villages, is to be notified. LPG network should be available within 5 kilometers or 3 kilometers. The norm is to be ensured, and it should be implemented in mission mode, that is the need of the hour. Then existing fair price shops or other available supply chains in rural areas can be thought of for utilization. Then it should be implemented in mission mode, just like Pradhanmantri Jan Dhan Yojana, so as to make it a successful program. Let us hope that government will overcome those challenges with these innovative solutions. Right friends, let us leave this aspect at this juncture. And government launches Ujala in Madhya Pradesh. What is meant by Ujala? Ujala is Unnat Jyoti by affordable LEDs for all. Ujala is being implemented by EESL. You may ask, what is EESL? EESL is Energy Efficiency Services Limited. This is a joint venture of public sector undertakings under Ministry of Power. Very important, EESL is the joint venture of public sector undertakings under the Ministry of Power, and this program is basically rolling out of LED bulbs. LED bulbs are highly energy efficient. So, rolling out of LED bulbs is the main aim of EESL, and this Ujala is the largest non-subsidized LED program in the world, and last year it was launched in the country, and now it was launched in Madhya Pradesh on May 1, and 3 crore LED bulbs will be distributed in the next 6 months in Madhya Pradesh, and 9 watt LED bulbs will be given with an upfront payment of 85 rupees per bulb, and basically it will not only help reduce consumers their electricity bills but also contribute to energy security and environment protection. And don't forget, 9 watt LED bulb gives the same luminosity as that of 100 watt incandescent bulb. And this program is being monitored in a transparent manner through a national dashboard, right? And if you look at the comparison of incandescent bulb, CFL bulb and LED bulb, this LED bulb consumes half the energy as that of CFLs. That means the CFL of 40 watt is equivalent to LED of 20 watt. Let me tell you once again, LED 20 watt bulb is equivalent in luminosity to 40 watt CFL bulb, right? And at the same time, 1/10 of the energy is consumed by LED bulb in comparison to incandescent bulb. As I have already told you, 100 watt incandescent bulb is equal to 9 watt LED bulb. What I mean to convey is, LED bulbs consume half the energy as that of CFLs and 1/10 of that of incandescent bulbs for same luminosity. So, they are highly energy efficient. And if you look at the fact file on Ujala, total number of LED bulbs distributed in 2014-15 were just 30 lakh. But if you look at 2015-16, 15 crore LED bulbs were distributed, out of which 9 crore were distributed under Ujala and 6 crore by industry. So, under this Ujala scheme, 9 crore LED bulbs were distributed in 2015-16 itself. Then cost reduction, 83% cost reduction in procurement price in 2.5 years. The cost of LED 2.5 years ago was rupees 310, yet present it is rupees 54.90 or around 55 rupees. Then 10 crore total LEDs distributed under Ujala, and cost savings per day with this 10 crore LED bulbs is rupees 14 crores. So, annually 5,195 crores of saving is being caused because of this Ujala program. Then it resulted in avoiding the capacity addition of 2,600 megawatt. If LED bulbs are not there, then we require another 2,600 megawatt of power. Then 29,000 tons reduction in carbon dioxide emissions per day because of energy efficiency. That means the 1 crore tons of CO2 annually is reduced. Then 77 crore number of inefficient bulbs or incandescent bulbs planned to be replaced by 2019, because of which the saving will be rupees 40,000 crore annually. Government is doing this in mission mode. Right friends, look at the last event of the week, that is Freebies versus state sponsored alcoholism. A classic case of Tamil Nadu. There are several freebies are being given. All of you are well aware Tamil Nadu is in the forefront as far as freebies are concerned, and people are getting several utilities free of cost from the state government. That is the right thing if you look at it from the perspective of socialism. But the unfortunate aspect is the Tamil Nadu government is getting rupees 30,000 crore through the sale of alcohol and alcohol based human consumption. So, the annual revenue of TASMAC You may ask, what is the TASMAC? TASMAC is a Tamil Nadu State Marketing Corporation, and basically all the liquor shops are being owned or regulated by TASMAC, and TASMAC's revenue is 30,000 crores of rupees per annum, and government is giving several freebies, and ultimately people are becoming sick. If you look at what is the end result, deterioration of health, especially of a male adult population of BPL families, then this excessive consumption of arak is leading to family unrest, social unrest, and overall you can say negative end result. So one has to think governments from the perspective of freebies on one hand, and on the other hand state sponsored alcoholism, and trying to get more revenue through the sale of arak on one hand, and on the other hand giving freebies to the citizens of the country, and how far this is justified, one has to do soul searching. And if you look at the existing freebies in Tamil Nadu, 20 kg free rice to identified families every month, color TV free of cost to identified families, subsidized Amma kitchen, a free mixer cum grinder and fan per each family, and many more. And freebies promised by one political party include free laptops with internet connection for class 10 and class 12 students, free cell phones for ration card holders, waiver of all farm loans around rupees 40,000 crores, 100 free electricity units every 2 months, subsidy to women to the extent of 50% when they purchase scooters or mopeds, 8-gram gold coin for women getting married. There is nothing wrong in giving these freebies, but the irony is most of the income for giving these freebies is coming through organized sale of arak in the state. So one hand, lot of things are given, and on the other hand everything is taken out. Most important, through state organized alcoholism, health is being taken out. Right friends, there is a case for serious soul searching by any state government in the country. With this, let us conclude the lecture part. Please do join for SNT and news analysis. Have a nice day. Thank you.